Hey Frosties! Today we're going to make our icing for our Christmas cookies. So today what we're going to need is our butter. I'm going to double this recipe, so I have the recipe that you should see on Google Classroom is for 1 stick of butter. I'm doubling it, so I need 2 sticks of butter. So I'm going to use 2 sticks of butter, a little bit of salt, then the powdered sugar. I'm doubling it. You need 8 ounces, so I am using this is a 16-ounce bag, so I'm going to use just this whole bag. So remember, when you think of ounces, you can weigh it or think about how much is 16 ounces in terms of cups. So it's going to be 2 cups equals 16 ounces. So if you were just making 1 stick of butter, you only need 1 cup of powdered sugar. Then we're also going to need some vanilla. So I have some vanilla and then milk. It says milk on your recipe. I'm using heavy whipping cream. I find that this is better because it has a little bit more fat. And it's actually what butter is made out of. I think I've said this before, but if you whip this in the heavy whipping cream in a food processor, you will actually get butter. And there'll be a little bit of the milk, buttermilk left over, and yeah, there you have butter. So today we are going to make not only this, the recipe for the buttercream, but I'm also going to show you a little bit of the techniques or different materials that I'm going to use when we pipe the cookies. So I'm going to start whisking my butters together with, and then I'm going to add my salt with that. This one is sticking to the paper. So I need, just as a tiny pinch of salt, so I'm just going to do that. Now remember, I'm doubling this, so I'm going to need 2 tiny pinches of salt. 1 tiny pinch and 2 tiny pinches. Now I'm going to whisk this for a long time. So I use the whisk attachments. If you were mixing this, you can use the beater attachments too. So this is the difference. This is the beater attachment. So if you have a hand mixer and you have something similar to what you would use with this, you can just use that. But if you have the whisk attachments, I know a lot of people use them, and it's perfectly fine if you use the paddle attachment. This just adds air to your icing. So I'm just going to let that kind of whip a little bit. Whip it good. And then I'm going to turn it off. So just whip the butter. And then I'm going to add about half of my powdered sugar into this. Now, just like if you're adding flour into whatever it is you're making, you want to make sure that you turn it on low first. Because what's going to happen? It's going to go all over. Another trick that you can do so that doesn't happen is you can take a towel, just a kitchen towel, a hand towel, and you cover it like this. You cover your mixer like this, and you just increase the speed so that it doesn't go everywhere. That is, the powdered sugar doesn't go everywhere. So you can do that. Let's look and see what it looks like. So it looks a little lumpy. You can see there's still some powdered sugar on the sides. So I need to scrape down my bowl, the sides of my bowl. So I'm going to scrape down the bowl, and then after that I'm going to add some more powdered sugar. I'm going to add it after I put the whisk in. So this is going to whisk for about 5 more minutes. I got a little bit coming out. I'm going to whisk that for about 5 more minutes. We might do a little bit less than that. So here are my cookies that I made. Here's a few of them. Here's Mr. Fox. He made it to the party. So those are my cookies. What we're going to do once this is finished is, well, we'll color it. So, what I am using is gel color. So, this is a little different than maybe the stuff you would buy in the grocery store. It's thicker and it has more pigment in it. Here's another version from Wilton. So you can buy both of these at, say, a craft store, Michael's, or other craft stores. You can also buy them online. You can buy them on Amazon. I think I bought these ones. I bought on Amazon. These are the ones that I just had forever. I just accumulated different colors for my personal collection of colors. So whenever I need a different color, I just buy it from wherever I need it from, whatever color I need it from. So I have these like light neon colors that I made different things out of, or I also like to do dark forest green when I do Christmas cookies. Today we're just going to use the regular green because that's what this came with. So we're going to do that green. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put it in one of these pastry bags. So a pastry bag like this. We're going to put a hoopler. So this is called a hoopler. We're going to cut the ends, put this in here, and what this does is it helps to, say you have this blue color in here. Say I want to make a circular tip and I want to squeeze that out. Well then, I want to go over and put on a star tip. You can take this off and take the tip off and then put whatever tip on that you want to use. So you can use the same color but make different designs with the same color. So it's really helpful if you're doing multiple different kinds of cookies so that you can create whatever design you want. So that's what we're going to do once this is finished. At this point, I need to add a couple more things before I add my dye. So I still need to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. So I'm going to add that I'm going to add that to my icing. Did you guys notice the Christmas music in the background? I have it today. That was special. And then I'm also going to do, now remember I'm using heavy cream. Your recipe says milk. So I'm going to add a tablespoon of heavy cream. Uh-oh, there it goes. Okay, I'm just going to put those in the sink. And then I'm going to turn this on just so that incorporates. scrape down the sides too as well, just like I did before. Okay, so I'm just gonna whisk that just a little bit more, and I think it's almost done. So as you can see, this is what it looks like. I'll put my whisk in here too. So notice how my whisk is going in. It's a little bit, it has a little bit of give to it, but it's pretty firm. So this next point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to color it. So I'm going to do this all green. Forgot to open this one. Okay, so that's open. I'm just going to squirt some out. Really get it right where So I just squirt that in, and again, this kind of color, the gel color over a liquid color is going to be more vibrant color, and you actually use less. It has a lot more pigment in it, so it's actually a better dye, and it doesn't leave your icing watery, because the liquid based is going to be just water in the dye. So it's almost like, think watercolors. If you had a watercolor, that pigment is really intense, versus if you just put water on the water pigmentation, the watercolors, it's still gonna be that color, but it's not gonna be as vibrant as if you use specifically that circle. One thing I used to always like to do as well, so something I did in culinary school, was make gingerbread houses. So this is where it can be really fun too if you have different kinds of icing. I used to make the green ivy that would go up on the gingerbread houses. So that's another thing that you can do. You can use this royal icing to do something if you wanted to do a gingerbread house this Christmas. Make one of those. You can do those kits, but you can also make the icing if you wanted to eat the gingerbread house. You don't have to do anything elaborate, you can just do a square. Alright, so there is our color. What I'm going to do is I am going to cut this. I'm going to take the coupler. I'm going to put it all the way in my bag first, this part. All the way down in my bag. I'm going to fold over my bag like this. So I'm going to start low and then work my way up. So what I do when I fill a bag is I turn it inside out, and then I just put my hand and grab the inside of the bag, because I'm going to fill this part first, and then slowly I'll work my way up. So I might have a little bit of extra of this. I might just put this in a container so that I can fill up my bag as I need it. Since I will be frosting these cookies for each class, I'm gonna probably need a lot of green for the trees. Christmas trees. So as I work my way up, I'm going to move the bag up a little bit. So once I get to about here, on some bags they'll tell you filled to this line. Be careful because I don't want to squeeze it out. So I'm gonna fill it there. I can see some air pockets in here, so once I start piping, I know they'll kind of push out. What I'm gonna do and what I suggest you do is tie a rubber band around here, like this, so that it stays closed. It's a lot easier this way. Otherwise, what happens is the icing will start coming out and onto your hand, and you want to make sure that you keep all that icing in there, that you worked hard to get in there. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to put, this is going to go in the fridge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another bag in the bag that I just did, like this. And then I'm just going to place it in the fridge, and then it's ready. So there is the icing demo. What I will show you next then is specifically how to pipe on their cookies, different decorations and things like that. Thanks for watching, everyone, and enjoy your cookies. Bye.